In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you how to cut a backless wrap blazer with collar. So if this is something you like, kindly hit on the subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, leave your comment at the comment section. So to start, here is my pattern, and if you notice in front of my pattern, I have a line. So I marked about 4 inches in front for the extension. So after this, I marked my shoulder to bust, under bust, waist and blouse length or jacket length, which I just added extra 1 inch or 1.5 inches after my waistline because the blazer is close to the waistline. So here I'm marking my shoulder divided by 2, and I'll come down by 1 inch at this point. So after I'm done marking this, I'm going to mark my basic neckline of 3 inches. Now I'm going to place my ruler and I will connect. Next step is I'm going to find my chest line, which is my bust circumference divided by 6 plus 1.5 inches, and I'll go ahead to mark. Then I'll place my ruler to connect to that point. Whatever I have on the shoulder, I will mark it back on my chest line. So every measurement I'm taking is starting after the line. So I connected from my shoulder to the chest line, and the next step is to go ahead to divide what I have here into 2, come in by ½ inch. Now I'm going to mark my bust circumference divided by 4. Now after marking it, I'm going to extend my line to that point and extend the rest of my pattern because I feel my line is a bit short. So after I was done marking this, I'll go ahead. So the next step I'll take is to go ahead to place my ruler, connect from this point all the way to the midpoint, and I'll extend this all the way up. So after I'm done marking this, the next step I'm going to take is to go ahead to mark my dart. I'm going to mark my nipple to nipple divided by 2. My nipple to nipple is 7 inches divided by 2. I have 3.5 inches, which I'll mark from the upper part of my pattern to the lower part of my pattern. Now I'll place my ruler and I'm going to go ahead to draw a straight line. So after I'm done marking that, the next step I'm going to take is to go ahead to mark ½ inch on both sides of my waistline. So from the bust area, I'm going to come down by 1 inch. Now I'm going to place my ruler and I will go ahead to connect this from the waist to the upper part, and I'll also connect it to the other side. Now I'll be extending my dart all the way down so that it will be easier for you to blend out if you want to, or you can sew up the dart just like we have on the thumbnail. So the next step I'm going to take now is to go ahead to mark my measurements. So I'll mark my bust circumference divided by 4 and add my sewing allowance. My bust is 33 divided by 4. I have 8.3, and I'll add my sewing allowance. So this is more like a blazer jacket dress. You don't need too much sewing allowance because when you're making your blazer, you don't also need too much sewing allowance. So after marking this out, the next step I'll take is to go ahead to mark my under bust measurement. So when you're making a blazer, you don't need this, but because this is more like a crop blazer and might also need to relax on the body. So here I'm marking my waist circumference divided by 4, measure the dart intake and add my sewing allowance. Now I'll go ahead to place my ruler and I will be connecting this from the bust to the under bust to the waist, and whatever I have on the waistline, I'm going to take this all the way to the blouse length or the jacket length. So now I'll extend this all the way down. So after I'm done marking this, the next step I'm going to take is to go ahead to mark a basic neckline of 3 inches, and from there I'll come down by 1.5. So I'm trying to take the measurement for the back neckline because I need it for the collar area, that is the back part. So I have 4 inches, which I extended it all the way to the back. So after doing that, I will be coming in by 1.5, which I'll extend it down to the men's shoulder. Now from here, I'm going to go ahead to connect this all the way to the armhole. So but before doing that, I'll reconnect measuring for my shoulder slope so that the neckline will balance. So from here, I connected back to my armhole, and after this I'll go ahead to use my marker and I'm going to outline this. So I'm going to go ahead to outline or draw out this place. So I'll be using a freehand sketch. So from here I'll extend this all the way towards the under bust area. So you can take yours down a bit more. So after I'm done marking this, right, you want to draw out the extension for your collar. You can use 2.5 inches here. So when you're extending it, you now go out a bit by 3 inches and draw your slant. So if you're not okay cutting out this way, or you feel that you might have or make mistake and the collar will turn out shorter, so I'll be leaving another way to cut this out after you're done cutting. So I also prefer the other method because it will give you a realistic idea of how your collar is going to look like. So now I'll just go ahead to cut this out. So just note that whatever you have here, you'll be cutting out 2 pieces of it for the collar of this dress, for the front part of this dress, sorry. So after cutting this out, I'll go ahead to chop out the collar of the neckline. But this is what I have for this collar. So I'm bringing in another pattern paper. So after this, I went ahead to swap to another pattern paper. I felt that was small, so I'm just going to place this way. Then I'll come down a bit to the neckline. So if you notice, this one will also help you like readjust or cut out something you feel is okay. So I used a sellotape to hold it down, and after that I'll be chopping out this area. So this is what I have now. Now you can go ahead to reshape your collar. So you notice that you have a better collar with this method. So this is what I have, and this is what it will be looking like. So we'll move over to the back pattern. So moving over to the back pattern, I've gone ahead to mark out my basic measurement just like we did for the front. Now I went ahead to mark my dart, which is my nipple to nipple divided by 2, and I'll draw out a straight line. So now I went ahead to mark my 1/2 inch on the waist, on the under bust, and I also marked that towards my waist, and I will go ahead to connect. So after connecting, I'll insert my measurement. I'll mark my bust circumference divided by 4 and add my sewing allowance. Mark my under bust circumference divided by 4, measure the dart intake and add my sewing allowance. Here I'll go ahead to mark my waist circumference divided by 4, measure the dart intake, replace and add my sewing allowance. So whatever I have on the waist, I'll take it to that 1 inch or 1.5 inches after my waistline. So I don't really like my jacket or half blazer to be hanging. That's why I like going down by 1 or 1.5 inches after my waistline. So after this, I'll just go ahead and outline, and I'll be cutting out my pattern. So this is what we have. And if you find this video very interesting and educative, please don't forget to hit on the subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and also join us on our next video. Thanks. So you can blend this out or just cut out the darts.